Welcome back to the maths class, students. Today we shall start the new chapter, that is direct and inverse proportion. So before starting the chapter, let us quickly learn what is variation. If two quantities depend on each other in such a way that the change in one results in corresponding change in the other, then the two quantities are said to be in variation. That means if there are two quantities, two variables, if one is changing, another one is also changing, whether it will be increasing or decreasing, then the two quantities are said to be in a variation. For example, more articles purchased will cost more. More distance covered by a vehicle, more petrol will be consumed. More worker at a work, less is the time taken to complete the work. Next is more is the speed of a car, less will be the time taken to cover that distance. So you can see in all these examples there are two quantities. In the first one, article and the cost. So if the more of the article is being purchased, so the cost will be more. Less article, less price. Next one is more distance, so more petrol is being consumed. Same way, more are the workers at work, so less will be the time. And more is the speed, then the time taken to cover the distance will be less. So this way, both the quantities are in, we can say them that they are in the variation. So children, variations are of two types. As you can see, direct variation, that is also called direct proportion, or indirect or inverse proportion. So what is direct variation? So two quantities x and y are said to be in direct proportion if whenever the value of x, that is one of the quantity, increases, then the value of other, that is y, also increases. Or if both x is decreasing, y will also decrease. In such a case, the ratio of x and y, that means both the quantities, will always remain constant. So this is called the direct variation. Next one is inverse proportion. So two quantities x and y are said to be inverse proportion if x increases, y decreases, or such that x decreases, y increases. Then the product xy remains constant. So always remember, in direct variation, x upon y remains constant, and in indirect, that is inverse proportion, the product of these two quantities will always remain the constant. Now let us begin with the exercise 13.1. First question. As you can see, following are the car parking charges near a railway station up to: for 4 hours rupees 60, 8 hours rupees 100, 12 hours rupees 140, and for 24 hours it is parking charges rupees 180. Check if the parking charges are in direct proportion to the parking time. So firstly, we will make the table of these two quantities, that is number of hours and parking charges. As you can see, I have drawn the table here. The ratio of parking charges to the respective number of hours, that is rupees per hour, can be calculated as, so parking charge was 60, for number of hours was 4. So we will write it as 60 by 4. So here it is 15. Next is 100 by 8, that is 25 by 2. Next one is 140 by 12, so we will get 35 by 3. 180 by 24, we will get 15 by 2. So here everywhere the ratios are different, and so we can say that these are not in a direct proportion. As for direct proportion, always x by y ratio should be same. It should be always constant. But here you can see everywhere the quantity is, or the ratio is different. It is not same. So we can say that the parking charges given here is not in a direct proportion. Next question is, a mixture of paint is prepared by mixing 1 part of red pigments with 8 parts of base. In the following table, find the parts of the base that need to be added. So here you can see that the given mixture of paint is prepared by mixing 1 part of red pigments with 8 parts of the base as it is given. So for more parts of the red pigments, the parts or the base will be more. Therefore, the parts of red pigments and the parts of base are in the direct proportion. So we will make the table here, and according to the direct proportion, what do we know? That the quantity x by y always remains the constant. So we will apply the same logic here. So 1 by 8 will be equals to another 4 by x1. We will transpose it and then we can find easily the value of x1. 4 into 8, that is 32. Likewise, we will proceed with the 1 by 8 will be equal to 7 by x2. Again, we will transpose it and we can calculate the value of x2 will be 8 into 7, that is 56. Likewise, the third one, 1 by 8 equals to 12 by x3, transposing the value. So x3 will be 12 into 8, that is 96. Likewise, we will calculate the value for x4, and x4 will be 20 into 8, that is 160. Now we will put the values of x1, x2, x3 and x4 in the table. Now let us start with the third question. So third question is, in question 2 above, if 1 part of red pigment requires 75 ml of base, how much red pigment should we mix with 1800 ml of base? So here only we have to assume that the part of red pigment which is required to be mixed, we will consider it to be x, and then by the given information we will make the table parts of the red pigment and the parts of the base. So 1 part is mixed with 75 ml, same way x part will be mixed with the 1800 ml. So these are in the direct proportion as it is given. 1 part is mixed with 75, so more will be the part to be mixed with the 1800. So we will calculate it as the ratio x by y will be always constant. So 1 by 75 will be equals to x upon 1800. Transposing the value, we will get the value of x to be 24. So by this, we will get that 24 parts of red pigment should be mixed with 1800 ml of base. So this way, children, in this session we have discussed till question number 3. In the next session, we will discuss the further.